Welcome, everybody. We're just waiting for our last few counselors to join the meeting, and then we will go ahead and get started. And while we wait to get started, I've got one unidentified number. That number is 413-459-5487. If you could identify yourself, please. Again, if the 413-459-5487 number could please unmute and identify yourself.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi, I'm a member of the Crown Traders Corporation.
The what?
Crown Traders.
Which agenda item are you here for?
This is for the car dealership.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, the time is now 7:04. Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Counselor Perez,
Present.
present. Counselor Curran, absent. Counselor Walsh,
Present.
present. Counselor Brown,
Present.
present. Counselor Davila,
Present.
present. Counselor Hurst,
Present.
present. Counselor Edwards,
Present.
present. Counselor Allen,
Present.
present. Counselor Govan,
Present.
present. Counselor Fenton,
Present.
present. Counselor Whitfield, absent. Counselor Letterman.
Present. Will the council and guests please stand and join me in a moment of silence followed by the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you all. We'll begin this evening with any reports of committee. Councilor Allen.
Thank you, Mr. President. I was standing, I'm going to give a report of committee on the Finance Committee, which was just held an hour or so ago. And also two other reports that relative to things I want to give updates on. So Councilor Whitfield asked me shortly before the Finance Committee. She said she wouldn't be able to make it. So could I run the meeting? And I accepted. And we met, probably 15 of us or so. Councilor Govan and I were the members of the committee that were there. We went through all the items. There were 12 items on the agenda, or 14. And then Chris Ignoli had a couple others that were not on our agenda, but they are on the evening agenda. Good discussion. We talked about every issue, had good discussions, and Counselor Govan and I took a vote at the end to approve all the items on the Finance Committee from this afternoon. So that's a report on finance. Two other things I'd like to just update the council on. One is the pension bonds project, which is something we took a hard vote on here a few weeks ago. And the pension bonds project, what we were voting on at the time was that we would support the pension bonds, or at least allowing TJ and the financial team to continue to work on them and to take a report to the state to proceed as if we were going to buy the pension bonds or offer pension bonds. Since that time, the committee kept meeting Wednesdays at 1:00 up until I think the Wednesday before last. And it was pretty much determined, and that group of people was the 4 or 5 people from City Hall, including myself, TJ Lindsay, Pat Burns, and Chris Caputo, and myself. That was Cinder, who is a financial analyst consultant to us for the city of Springfield from Hilltop Securities. It was also I believe our bond counsel. I think his name is Rick. And there were several people from Stiefel and several people from Ramirez, which are the 2 firms that were going to offer the bonds. And I also forgot Linda, our actuary, was on there. So for several weeks, couple months, we met, and they were running, projections at different interest rates, et cetera, et cetera. And we were moving along well. The team was working well, but the economy was not getting any better. The interest rates for borrowing were getting higher. The interest rate returns on investments were getting lower. And TJ and the committee called a halt to that analysis process the week before last. So the pension bond vote that we took at the time was a good vote and allowed that work to continue. But we're thinking that we got a lot of work done. TJ, particularly, probably his words, we got a lot of work done. And when the economic situation is favorable, again, in the future, we'll be able to pick up and benefit from a lot of the work that was done. But the pension bond, project itself is dormant at this point because the economic conditions are not favorable for that at this point. That was my first report after the Finance Committee. And the second report is, you might have heard, you recall on Eversource that we won an appeal. An appeal went in our favor in February. And then not too long after that, we got the $41 million, et cetera. And then apparently Eversource took that appeal to the Supreme Judicial Court. This is just for years 2012 and 2013. They took the appeal. They continued to appeal to the Supreme Judicial Court for 2012 and 2013. And the Supreme Judicial Court told them on Friday, we got word of it, that they refused to take their case. So that was one more favorable court decision favorable to us. So it looks like the 2012-2013 tax situation is now resolved. We've been paid for that, and it doesn't look like there'll be any other legal challenges. But they can, of course, continue with 2014, 2015, whatever they choose to do. The question is, they continue to lose. So I don't know what their plans are, but I wanted you guys to know that we have one more victory on that. And let's hope that we don't have any more future challenges, but we've clearly done well with the challenges we've had. And the financial team's done great. And, Patrick has an budget item on tonight, which is somewhat related to pension bonds, the legal counsel that we had for the pension bonds on not on the pension bonds, on the pension, on the Eversource situation, So that's it. The Finance Committee, the pension bonds, and the Eversource situation. That's it, Mr. President. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Allen. Councilor Edwards.
Thank you, Mr. President. On June 3rd, the Economic Development Committee met. We established quorum by the presence of Councilor Perez, and we were joined by Councilors Govan and Hurst. Additionally, present was the Executive Director of the Springfield Redevelopment Authority, Ms. Amanda Pham, and the Head of Planning and Economic Development for the City of Springfield, Tim Sheehan. Our intended purpose was to discuss the amendment to Section 12 of the zoning act that is presented at a previous meeting. Unfortunately, we had some glitches and some misunderstandings about how to get that done, and we ended up going directly into executive session without violating any the parts of the executive session. But the discussion is around, and I've been allowed to discuss not the legal aids. And the executive session was primarily because a portion of what is being proposed will require legal action. But the general gist of what we're hoping to do without any violation is that many of you are already aware that the parking garage at Falcon Way is to be demolished and rebuilt. For the Springfield Civic Center to operate, apparently the handicap parking that exists inside the garage has to be replicated somewhere within walking distance. Right now, and if it's not, then the Civic Center cannot operate. So the Convention Bureau is going to be coming to the city of Springfield and asking for us to work cooperatively with them to acquire the surface lot that is on Falcon Way, so that they can utilize that for the 18 months of construction to have handicap parking to keep the Civic Center operational. In addition to that, there is a request, or you will be getting a request from the Falcon Way to be put under the control. It would still be property owned by the city of Springfield, but the actual control of Falcon Way would be turned over to Convention Bureau to allow for it to be closed down and developed into a one-way street that, without need for permit, the Convention Bureau or the operators of the Civic Center could shut it down for conventions and for outside display of and events without the need to apply for a permit. The street would become one way from Main Street going toward Dwight Street, and this would occur after the garage. And then there is some plans or discussion about after construction, that parking lot being turned into a park that would include 3 more retail kiosk type buildings or small buildings that could have retail along the edge that is abuts Market Place. I believe it's Marketplace, where Nosh and there's some other restaurants that are there. On that little section of the area, they would build some retail space. And it actually ties into the more larger plan that has been presented of a convention in a more welcoming convention type in tourist area downtown. You would conceivably be able to hold events at Court Square, walk across the street into Falcon Way, which would then be transformed similarly to what you see at Yawkey Way in Boston, outside Fenway Park. And then that would connect you directly to Pension Park. And anybody who walked up the steps at Pension would be right there at the Quadrangle Museums. So it kind of ties everything together, or it's another step in that particular journey to do all of that. There will be a plan brought to you by Tim and Amanda to explain the intricate details of what is going to be asked of the council. And I have had a conversation with the chairman of the Finance Committee, and we're putting our schedules together to try to host a joint meeting of the Finance Committee and the Planning and Economic Development Committee, where we will be able to talk about the financial role of the city as opposed to just the transfer and acquisition of property as it relates to acquisition of any property. And I believe, if I'm mistaken, I apologize if I didn't mention Councilor Hurst, and Attorney Tom Moore is still employed with the city, and he was in attendance in the meeting as well. So that's my report for now. And I all councilors will be invited to the joint meeting of finance and economic development when we set the schedule for that. And I encourage all my colleagues to attend. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Edwards. Councillor Walsh, followed by Councillor Davila.
Thank you, Mr. President. I do not have a committee report, but I have a point of information. We just heard that through the hard work and diligence and perseverance of councilors Allen and Fenton, that there's a $41 million settlement going to the city of Springfield. I think they need to be congratulated. I think it's very rare that I can't remember times when city councilors have actually contributed to the coffers of the city in such a dramatic way. And I don't think they should go unrecognized for their efforts and the success of what they set out to do.
Thank you, Councillor Walsh. Sentiment is certainly shared by many. Councillor Davila.
And I
Thank you,
think
Mr.
raise.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Councilor Walsh.
Councillor
I
Walsh.
said- Yes, and I said, and I think they deserve a raise.
Thank you, Councillor Walsh. Councillor Davila.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, the Public Safety Meeting met on May 9th with the newly created Police Commission. And present were Councilor Perez, yourself, Councilor Letterman, Councilor Harris, Councilor Fenton, Councilor Govan, of course, myself. Also present was Police Commissioner Dr. Gary Bertie, Commissioner Madeline Fernandez, Commissioner Robert Jackson, Commissioner Norma Roldan, and Commissioner Albert Tranghisi. We had an excellent first meeting. Among some of the stuff that we talked about was some of the needs of the Police Commission, and they emphasized succinctly that they do need a support staff. They also need an attorney to advise them in their very important work. Also, we talked about the open meeting laws as it relates to the Police Commission. They are doing the 48 hours. I myself suggested that they should perhaps consider doing a 72-hour notice as a public notification as a way to continue to enhance and increase the public trust. And they look very receptive to that. They're going to talk about themselves and make a decision. Also, we talked about where they're meeting. Right now, they're pretty much meeting at the Public Safety Complex, but they do intend to do visits throughout the neighborhood as well. We had a recommendation by
Councillor Davila, I just got a text from our tech at Focus that their internet has crashed.
Okay.
So if you could just bear with me for one moment, I want to make sure that we are still live.
Yep.
And if we are still live, we'll be permitted to continue.
Very well. Very well.
And it appears that we are still live. So Councillor Davila, just one moment, and I'm going to make sure we are also recording in addition to being live. All right, Councillor Davila, you can proceed.
Thank you, Mr. President. Councilor Fenton made a suggestion, which was, I thought, very good suggestion. Councilor Fenton suggested that the commission should facilitate an annual report to the mayor and to the city council with regards to the work and to the progress to see how their work has been improving the relationships and the police department here in the city of Springfield. We do intend to have another meeting in the near future. Councilor Perez at the time suggested, which I think is a very good suggestion, to focus on the complaint process so that we can educate the residents of the city of Springfield on how the process is. And so keep in tune, we're going to be having another meeting in the near future. And that's my report, Mr. President. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Davila. Are there any further reports of committee? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call the roll on accepting the reports of committee.
On accepting the reports of committee, Councilor Perez,
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Curran, absent. Oh, you're in.
I'm
Counselor Curran, can I mark you as present?
Yeah, please recognize Counselor Kern. I didn't see that he had joined.
Counselor Curran, present.
Present.
And yes, on the reports of committee?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Walsh.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Brown.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Davila.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Hurst.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Edwards.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Allen.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Govan.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Fenton.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Whitfield. Absent. Counselor Letterman.
Yes, thank you very much, Madam Clerk. The next two items on our agenda are informational. And with regard to the resignation of our former City Council President and our colleague from Ward 5, Marcus Williams. In light of his resignation, I asked the Law Department to craft a legal memo advising us as the City Council as to the succession of the office of the City Council President, as well as the office of the City Council Vice President. That memo was transmitted to us this afternoon and shared with all councilors. I hope councilors have had an opportunity to review it, but I have invited Attorney Kathy Breck to share both with the council and our guests, as well as members of the public, the legal opinion as it generally relates, and to be able to answer any questions. So at this time, I'll recognize Attorney Breck to summarize the legal opinion.
Thank you, Mr. President. Kathleen Breck, Deputy City Solicitor from the City of Springfield Law Department, 36 Court Street, Springfield, Mass. So this afternoon, I submitted an opinion responding to questions from Council President Letterman regarding two different aspects. The first aspect is the rule of succession for the City Council President upon the resignation of former President Marcus Williams. And the City Council rules, Rule 9A, is very clear about what happens in the absence of the president. The vice president of the City Council assumes the powers of the president. So that is very clear according to the City Council rules. And as of the resignation of former Councilor Williams, Councilor Letterman has now taken the office of president of the City Council without any further need for any sort of process. The second question is a little more complicated, and that is how does the council either elect or select a new vice president? So our rules, City Council rules in Rule 8A, talks about annually at the first meeting, the council elects both a president and a vice president. But there's not really nothing in the rules that talk about electing a vice president in between, after the first annual meeting. So I did some research, I reviewed the various City Council rules, and I also looked at Robert's rules, which is the default when our City Council rules or statute or something, nothing else is specifically on point. So there's a City Council rule about chairing meetings, Rule 9A, and it's the same one that talks about in the absence of the president, the vice president assumes the duties of the president. And then that rule goes on to talk about if both the president and the vice president are absent, then the most senior member of the council would, for that particular meeting, basically serve as the president or the presiding officer of that meeting. And that would be for just one meeting. But that doesn't address the office of the vice president. It just addresses who serves as president during that meeting. So I looked at the Roberts rules, and specifically the Roberts rules around elections. And the Rule 66 of Roberts rules talks about electing officers of a body. And there's a nomination procedure and then there's an election procedure, and it would be by the members of the city council. And there are some excerpts from the rule about there needs to be nominations. The nominations don't need to be seconded. After nominations are completed, the public body proceeds to an election. And as long as the candidate who is elected is present and doesn't decline the election, that would take effect immediately. So it is my opinion that the city council may use the same process that it used at the first meeting of the year to now elect a vice president to the city council. And that person would serve until next January when the normal election is held. So based on all the information, I spoke with Councilor Letterman, I spoke with the city clerk, Gladys Oyola Lopez, and I looked at a number of different sources, and that's the basis of the opinion. And if anyone has questions, I'm happy to try to answer them.
Thank you very much, Attorney Breck. Are there any counselors for Attorney Breck relative to the legal opinion? Seeing none, entertain a motion to accept the legal opinion.
So moved.
A motion was made by Councilor Allen and seconded by Councilor Govan. I do see a question and a hand up by Councilor Brown. So on the motion and the opinion, Councilor Brown.
I was just wondering, how soon can we actually have this? Is it something I just was curious about as far as the time frame? That's all. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councilor Brown. Attorney Breck can correct me if I'm wrong, but based on the opinion provided, it's really at the will of the council as to when we would hold the election process for the office of vice president. My thinking would be to place this on our next regular agenda meeting as the first item and allow us to go through the same process that we normally would in an election process at the beginning of the year.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm just still, for the constituents to hear it. I appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Brown. Is there any further questions on the motion, which is to accept the legal opinion? And just prior to taking that vote, seeing none, Madam Clerk, can you please recognize Councilor Whitfield?
Council Whitfield?
Present.
Present.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. And Councilor Whitfield, we are voting on accepting a legal opinion from Attorney Breck on the succession of the City Council President. I know you had come in at the beginning of that, so it's up to you if you vote on that, if you heard it and felt comfortable.
I read it.
Oh, good. All right, great. Seeing no further questions, then Madam Clerk, please call the roll on accepting the legal opinion.
On acceptance, Councilor Perez.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Curran.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Walsh.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Brown.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Davila.
Sorry, yes.
Yes, Councilor Hurst.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Edwards.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Allen.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Govan.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Fenton.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Whitfield.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Letterman.
Yes. Thank you very much, Attorney Breck. We appreciate you and your colleagues in the solicitor's office. And before we move on with the remainder of our business agenda, I just wanted to say a couple of things relative to our pathway forward. First, I want to say thank you to our friend and colleague, Ward 5 City Councilor Williams. I've had a chance to talk with Councilor Williams since his resignation, and I know how much he wishes us well in our work, and I know how much we wish him well in all of his future endeavors. I think he will be with us for some time still in the city of Springfield, and so we'll work to arrange an opportunity for councilors and city staff to be able to wish him well more formally in the near future over the summer. I also want to say thank you, Madam Clerk, to yourself and to all of our administrative staff who have really been working very hard in the last week to make sure that we were able to have a strong continuity of government in the wake of the resignation, including getting ready for the special election, which we will meet on in a special meeting this Wednesday to make sure that that moves swiftly. And I also want to thank all the members of the City Council who have reached out with your support, especially some of the past presidents who have reached out with your advice. It's much appreciated. Relative to the vice presidential vacancy, as brought up by Councilor Brown, I think it would make sense, again, to ensure the continuity of our own process, that we act swiftly to elect a new vice president. And so what I'll be doing is placing on our next regular agenda the election of the vice president. And my intent would be to follow the same process that we traditionally follow at the beginning of the year to fill that seat. And would just say in closing, I think I talk often, and I think we all believe so strongly in the institution of the City Council as the closest elected body to the people. And I want all of my colleagues and those watching at home to know that the opportunity to lead this body is not one that I take lightly. I believe, though, that if we all continue to work together, coming from our own perspectives, our own experiences, and our own intent, that we can continue to deliver for every resident in every neighborhood across the city of Springfield. So we got a lot of work to do tonight and a lot of work to do over the rest of the year. And I have great confidence in all of us to be able to accomplish that. And with that said, I would ask Madam Clerk that you call the next item.
The next item on the agenda is actually petitions 1 through 7 for Verizon and Eversource Gas.
So I think, Madam Clerk, let's take 1 through 6, I think are all Verizon.
Yes.
And then we'll look at 7 separately. And Director Signoli.
Good evening, councilors. Chris Signoli, DPW Director. The petitions in front of you, items 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 by Verizon are basically in the same neighborhood. On Baird Trace, they are looking to install 300 feet of 2 4-inch conduits, and this is for upgrades of their telecommunications and fiber optic internet service. On West Bank Court, it is the installation of 622 feet of 2 4-inch conduits. On Baird Road is the installation of 322 feet of 2 4-inch conduits. On, on Sawmill Road from addresses number 89 to 166, it is 830 feet of 2 4-inch lines. And the last one on Baird Crest Road is 610 feet of 1 4-inch conduit. The last one, Polk Terrace, is a street off of, I believe it's Ellendale, that is off of Parker Street in the south end of where it hits Allen Street. And that is for the installation, for the same reasons, for 527 feet of installation for 2 4-inch conduits, again, for telecommunication and internet services as well.
Thank you, Director Signoli. Is there anybody here from Verizon that would like to speak to this? Seeing none, Councilor Brown.
Chris, are they digging in the ground at all?
Yeah, these are all underground services. Most of the locations are actually off of the curb line, immediately behind the curb line, then digging in the street. They are crossing the street in certain locations, but this is all underground work.
Yeah, because a lot of times, Chris, I know it's not you guys, but the city, we pave nice streets and then they come in and they just do a patch job. Is there a way we can, make them give the city money to do a better job when they finish digging?
The way that we do it right now, Counselor, is our biggest excavations in the city. Verizon does not do a lot of them. Eversource Gas probably by far does the most. And what we've been doing with them is we've been doing post-construction inspections out there. And in order to make sure when we get to the end of a calendar year that everything has been restored properly. So we've been holding on-site meetings before the work starts, and then we've been doing post-construction inspection out there as well. Sometimes there may be a month or two between when the work is done and then the final repairs are being done. The other thing too is on some of the roads that we know we're going to be paving, we only have them do binder course because we know we're going to be digging it up in a month or two. So, but we do have a program, and the work that Columbia Gas is doing has gotten better over the last couple of years.
Okay. Is there a way that you can tie us in to when they're done? We can go and check it out and make sure also.
Sure, we probably have from Eversource Gas probably 15 or 20
Not too
active
many, Chris.
projects
I
going
know
on in
you
the city.
You gotta say it. Chris, I know you do. You're the expert. I'm not. You know that. I'm not. I'm just saying. I just want to make sure, because a lot of times I want to blame them. I know a lot of times sometimes I just, you do a good job. I just want to know, you just tie me in a little bit with that if you can.
Absolutely, no problem,
appreciate your
Counselor.
work.
No problem.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councilor Brown. Chris, is there no one here from Verizon on this?
I think Don is from Verizon, has his hand up, I think
that Don is a resident. Don, are you a resident with comment?
No, I'm not. I'm with Verizon.
Oh, okay, Don. Go ahead, Don.
I just wanted, I'm sorry, it took me a minute to raise my hand on Zoom. But I just wanted to let you know I was here when you asked the question. So I'm here to speak to the Park Terrace one. That is the one where I met with Hector in the field and the DPW representatives. So I just wanted to let you know I was here. And if anybody had any questions about the Park Terrace one.
Okay. Are there any further questions on these petitions, Councilor Perez?
Chris, I think that one of the concerns that I have is the material used, because every time they do the excavating and they pave the street, when the snow comes, after the snow, we are back in square one with those holes in the street. Are they utilizing the same materials? Because I have seen that in a couple of streets.
In general, the answer is yes. However, what usually happens when they do, as I mentioned before, when they do a street, sometimes we will just put binder down, and then later in the year they will do it. However, one of the things that we keep with, whether it's Verizon, Springfield Water and Sewer, Eversource, is they own those patches forever. So when we do have collapse of any one of those trenches, we make them go back and fix them.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Perez. Chris, I actually have received some communication from residents on some of these streets. Based on what they were told, this seems quite extensive, including possibly, sort of going on to folks, at least on folks' tree belts, if not their properties.
Correct.
So to be honest with you, I mean, I can't make the motion at this time, but I would entertain a motion that this go to the Maintenance and Development Committee so we can understand a little bit better. I suspect, ultimately, we'll want to see that type of upgrade made to the infrastructure, but I do have questions on it. So if other councilors have questions on it, I certainly would entertain a motion to Maintenance and Development. We do have another meeting coming up just next week, so we can move swiftly, but I do.
Make a motion to send this to the Maintenance and Development Committee.
Second.
Motion to go to committee by Councilor Whitfield has been made, seconded by Councilor Perez. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
For clarification, Mr. President, is that 1 through 6?
This would be Councilor Whitfield. Was your intention to refer items 1 through 6 to the Maintenance and Development Committee?
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
On the motion, Councilor Perez?
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Curran.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Walsh.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Brown.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Davila?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Hurst?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Edwards?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Allen?
yes,
Yes, Counselor Govan?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Fenton?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Whitfield?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Letterman?
Yes. Motion passes. I will call Maintenance and Development Committee meeting on this later in the week. Madam Clerk, please call the next item.
The next item is item number 7 for Eversource Gas on Moore Street.
Good evening, Councilors. Chris Signoli. This is a petition by Eversource Gas, Columbia Gas, for the installation of a 2-inch gas main on Moore Street in the north end. And it is 670 feet of installation and connections to homes in that area.
Thank you, Chris. Are there any questions for Chris, Councilor Brown?
Once again, I would have to concur with my colleague. A lot of times those potholes, are we holding these guys accountable? I know it's not us, Chris. It has nothing to do with us. But a lot of these, once they put this stuff on, I mean, we have like big holes in our streets afterwards. They have to come from them, not from us. That I'm just with this stuff. It's just going in the ground, also, Chris.
Yeah, this is a gas main, 2-inch gas main in the ground. Columbia Gas 2, 3, 4 years ago was notorious for doing poor work on their restoration. Their restorations have dramatically improved over the last few years to the point where we have very few at the end of the year that we make them go back and do complete repairs on. So I've been happy with the work that from a restoration standpoint lately that Columbia Gas has been doing.
All right. Thanks, Chris. I appreciate you, man.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councilor Brown. Councilor Govan?
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm not sure if there's anyone from Eversource here, but I guess my question is this a necessity that they put in a new gas main? I'm not sure what the area looks like. Possibly Councilor Perez might have more information since that is her ward. But you know, with the news lately with the the pipelines and things, is it a real necessity is my question. Is there another way that they can get gas to these residents without having to put in another line, since we are going to be going energy efficient and totally clean, we're hoping by 2050? That's my question. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councilor Govan. Chris, can you talk to the nature of the replacement?
Yeah, and I'm just looking at the plan here real quick. Yes, it's an abandonment of an existing line and a installation of a new line for better pressure. And I'm just looking here to see if it's elimination of cast iron systems, which they've been doing all over the city, which have been prone to leaks. So they are replacing them with plastic piping and eliminating the cast iron mains.
Mr. President, thank you.
Let's go. We'll go to Councilor Perez and then to Councilor Govan.
Yes, I was gonna recommend that this be part of the Maintenance Development Committee for discussion, please, because I myself have some questions. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Councilor Perez. Is that a motion?
Yes, as a form of a motion, I'm requesting a motion to be put on the floor that we discuss this other issue, the next Maintenance and Development. There has been so many, there have been so many concerns when it comes to this portion of the work of Eversource that it needs to be in discussion. Thank you.
Second.
Thank you, Councilor Perez. Motion is to refer item 7 to the Maintenance and Development Committee. It was seconded by Councilor Brown. Is there any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call the roll on referring item 7 to committee.
On referring to committee, Counselor Perez?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Curran.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Walsh.
yes,
Yes, Counselor Brown.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Davila.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Hurst.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Edwards.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Allen.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Govan.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Fenton.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Whitfield.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Letterman.
Yes, the item is referred to committee. Madam Clerk, please call the next item.
Next item is a DPW Transportation Construction Grant, no match required in the amount of $766,700.
Chris?
Counselors, good evening. Chris Signoli, DPW Director. This was a grant we applied for through the Gaming Commission Transportation Program. And the funds that we have been awarded is $766,000. And the use of these funds will be to repave East and West Columbus Avenue due to the impacts of the casino. And one of the other things that will happen there is obviously the installation of better shoulders, bike lanes. And one of the problems that I have on East and West Columbus Avenue is the alignment of a lot of the lanes are not very good down there. So we're going to be realigning the lanes. This as part of the award through the Gaming Commission.
Thank you, Chris. Are there any questions on this grant? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call the roll on approval or acceptance of the grant.
On acceptance of the grant, Counselor Perez.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Curran.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Walsh.
yes,
Yes, Counselor Brown.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Davila.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Hurst.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Edwards.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Allen.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Govan.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Fenton.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Whitfield.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Letterman.
Yes, the grant is accepted. Madam Clerk, please call the next item.
The next item is for health services for the homeless grant increase, no match required in the amount of $602,777.
Commissioner Colton Harris.
Yes, thank you very much. Before I talk about the grant, I just want to take a moment to introduce Lori Swanson, who is the new executive director of TJO Connor. I did introduce her at the budget hearing. She did present TJO's budget at that time. Lori, we did post the position. Lori applied for the position. She is a 5-year employee plus of the TJO Center already. She is a Springfield resident. I did receive a call from one of the mayors of the cities that we serve. And you know, we serve Springfield, Holyoke, and Chicopee, asking about our process. So I wanted to make sure that I gave you counselors information to note that we did post the position. There were applications, there were interviews, and Lori, again, who was the former shelter manager, obviously rose to the top in terms of her knowledge, skills, and aptitude, and her caring of animals. I wanted to say that while we are at a city council meeting with all counselors present, because as I said, I did introduce her, but I want to make sure everyone knows who she is because she is presenting this evening. As far as the health services for the homeless grant is concerned, this money is to increase our health center. The council approved about $1.8 million. This 600,000 plus brings us up to the 2.4 million, which is our annual allocation for the health center. It provides dental, medical, as well as behavioral health support for our unhoused residents. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Colton Harris. Are there any questions on the grant? Councilor Brown.
I really don't have a question. I know Commissioner Colton probably get sick of hearing this, but I just want to say that you always do a fantastic job, and we're lucky to have you. Thank you, Mr. President.
You're very kind, Counselor Brown. Thank you.
Thank you, Counselor Brown. Any further questions for Commissioner Colton Harris? Counselor Brown?
No, I didn't mean, I'm sorry, Mr. President.
No problem. Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call the roll on accepting the grant.
On accepting the grant, Counselor Perez?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Curran?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Walsh?
yes,
Yes, Counselor Brown?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Davila?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Hurst?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Edwards?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Allen?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Govan?
yes,
Yes, Counselor Fenton?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Whitfield?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Letterman?
Yes, the grant is accepted. Madam Clerk, please call the next item.
Next item is a DPW Shared Streets and Spaces Program Grant. No match required in the amount of $187,659.
Director Signoli?
Good evening, councilors. Chris Signoli again. The DPW, this is our fourth award from the state under the Shared Streets Program. This award for $187,000 is for three separate projects. The first project is at the intersection of Dickinson and Fountain Street for pedestrian improvements, crosswalk signage, etc. A large student population crosses there, so that will be upgraded. The second project is Allen Street in the area of Allen Park Road. There are two major bus stops on each side of the roadway that have no crosswalk, that have no handicap ramps, and don't even have any areas for the people to wait for buses. So that area is being upgraded. And the third project is the installation of electric assisted bike pad at Myrtle Street Park in Indian Orchard.
Thank you, Director Signoli. Are there any questions? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call the roll on accepting the grant.
On accepting the grant, Counselor Perez?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Curran?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Walsh?
yes,
Yes, Counselor Brown?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Davila?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Hurst?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Edwards?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Allen?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Govan?
yes,
Yes, Counselor Fenton?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Whitfield?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Letterman?
Yes, the grant is accepted. Madam Clerk, please call the next item.
The next item is item number 11, which is an FY22 GEU grant increase, no match required in the amount of $118,981.
And who's here to speak to this item?
Thank you, Mr. President. Lindsay Hackett, Deputy CAFO, 80 Tamarack Drive in Springfield. This is a grant increase for the police department's Massachusetts Gaming Commission grant to fund the GEU, the Gaming Enforcement Unit. This increase of $118,000 was due to a calculation error in the fringe benefits for the officers. And to make this right, they decided to increase our FY22 grant award.
Thank you, Lindsay. Are there any questions for the Deputy CAFO on this item? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call the roll to accept the grant.
On accepting the grant, Counselor Perez?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Curran?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Walsh?
yes,
Yes, Counselor Brown?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Davila?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Hurst?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Edwards?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Allen?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Govan?
yes,
Yes, Counselor Whitfield?
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Letterman?
Yes, the votes are sufficient and the grant is
You skip-
accepted. Madam
Oh,
Clerk.
you skipped me by mistake, Madam Clerk.
Oh,
Madam Clerk, can you please call Counselor Fenton's vote?
Counselor Fenton on item 11?
Yes.
Thank you, yes.
Thank you, Madam Clerk, and the votes are sufficient again. Please call the next item.
Next item is a library donation in the amount of $100,000.
And who's here to speak to this item?
Hi,
Director
this is Molly Fogarty. I'm the library director. I'm here to also with Matt Blumenfeld representing the Library Foundation. This is a $100,000 payment to the city towards the $2 million capital campaign for the East Forest Park branch. And I'll hand it over to Matt.
Thank you, Molly, and delighted to be with you this evening. With this $100,000 award, that will bring the total of our commitment to the city library for the Promise Realized campaign at East Forest Park to, I believe, $1.325 million towards our $2 million goal. We have raised another 400,000 or so. We were at about 1.7 million, and obviously we paused during COVID, the campaign, but we're starting to get rolling again. We're really delighted to be able to make this contribution this year, and we've got every intention of fulfilling our pledge till we get to the $2 million goal. And I would just add that with this $100,000 this year, that brings our total commitments to the city library this year to over 500,000, which is, I believe, this is the fourth consecutive year that we've been able to contribute at least 500,000 to the city library system. So thank you very much, and happy to take any questions.
Thank you both. Are there any questions for Director Fogarty or Mr. Blumenfeld relative to this grant? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call the roll on the grant acceptance.
On accepting the grant, Counselor Perez?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Curran?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Walsh?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Brown?
Yeah.
Yes. Counselor Davila?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Hurst?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Edwards?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Allen?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Govan?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Fenton?
Yeah.
Yes. Counselor Whitfield?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Letterman?
Yes, the votes are sufficient and the grant is accepted. Thank you both. Madam Clerk, please call the next item.
The next item is no match required funds to purchase digital radiology unit for TJO in the amount of $62,815.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Lori?
Well.
Commissioner Colton-Harris?
I thought that Lori was on. As the counselors know who were on the finance committee call, Lori was there. And she did explain that the digital radiography grant is going to allow us to have that our machine within TJO so that we're able to take care of our animals, including being able to do x-rays and all of the very important things that are necessary to take care of animals who are injured and come into the animal control shelter. But again, Lori was on the call for the finance committee.
Thank you, Commissioner Colton-Harris. Counselor Brown?
One thing I can assure you with a lot of the counselors, we love animals. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Counselor Brown.
Thank you, Counselor Brown.
Counselor Govan?
Hi, I just wanted to say, again, I don't have a question. I think that the work that TJ O'Connor does and the commissioner's department does is amazing. I actually drove by there today and saw the signs. They're looking for a Spanish speaking person to work. I said, oh, I should get a job there because I agree with Counselor Brown. I do love animals, and I just think that it's a great service that we're providing. So I'm really excited that they got this grant. Thank you, Commissioner.
Well, thank you, because we felt that putting an A-frame out or something out that would attract individuals as they drove by might get us more traction. So thank you for recognizing that. We appreciate it.
problem. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Counselor Govan. Are there any further questions on this grant? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call the roll to accept the grant.
On accepting the grant, Counselor Perez.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Curran.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Walsh.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Brown. Yes, Counselor Davila.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Hurst.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Edwards.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Allen.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Govan.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Fenton.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Whitfield.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Letterman.
Yes, the votes are sufficient and the grant is accepted. Madam Clerk, items 14, 15, 16, and 18 are all $50,000 and under. So let's go to item 17, and then we'll come back and do the rest together.
Item number 17 is free cash to OPEB Trust in the amount of $2,763,193.
Deputy Capo?
Thank you. So this transfer is to move the 10%, which we generally take from our free cash and move it over to our OPEB trust. So with this year's FY21's free cash amount being 27.6 million, we'll be taking 2.76 million from free cash and transferring it over to the OPEB trust, which will bring the OPEB trust balance up to about $6.2 million.
Thank you, Lindsay. Are there any questions for Lindsay on the free cash transfer? Lindsay, what will this leave us at for free cash total?
So if this passes tonight, this will leave free cash about $9.8 million.
Thank you. Any further questions for the Deputy CAFA? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call the roll on authorizing the free cash transfer.
On authorizing the transfer, Counselor Perez.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Curran.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Walsh.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Brown.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Davila.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Hurst.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Edwards.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Allen.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Govan. Yes, Counselor Fenton.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Whitfield.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Letterman.
Yes. Madam Clerk, do we need to suspend Rule 19 for item 17?
Yes.
Should item 17 have been under orders?
It should have been under orders.
Okay, we'll entertain a motion to suspend Rule 19 for item 17.
Don't move.
The motion to suspend Rule 19 has been
Second.
made by Counselor Perez and seconded by Counselor Govan. Madam Clerk, can you please call the roll on suspension of Rule 19?
On suspension of Rule 19, Counselor Perez.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Curran.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Walsh.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Brown.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Davila.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Hurst.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Edwards.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Allen.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Govan.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Fenton.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Whitfield.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Letterman.
Yes, the votes are sufficient and the motion passes. Rule 19 is suspended. Madam Clerk, items 14, 15, 17, and 18 may all be called together.
Beginning with item 14, which is a Valley Bike Station Equipment Grant, no match required in the amount of $50,000. Item number 15 is grant acceptance, no match required, $17,520 for reimbursement of cost of pre-development assessment for 60 Byers Street. Item number 16 is reading success by fourth grade grant increase, no match required in the amount of $15,150. And then lastly, number 18, which is a Mason Square Library donation in the amount of $500.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Are there questions on any of the aforementioned grants? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call the roll to accept all the items aforementioned.
On accepting the aforementioned items, Counselor Perez,
Yes.
Counselor Curran,
Yes.
yes, Counselor Walsh,
Yes.
yes, Counselor Brown,
Yes.
yes, Counselor Davila,
Yes.
yes, Counselor Hurst,
Yes.
yes, Counselor Edwards,
Yes.
yes, Counselor Allen,
Yes.
yes, Counselor Govan,
Yes.
yes, Counselor Fenton,
Yes.
yes, Counselor Whitfield,
Yes.
yes, Counselor Letterman.
Yes, votes are sufficient and the items are accepted. Members, we're going to move to the rest of the financial orders. I would like to try to do something that we had discussed doing at the beginning of this year for the remainder of our virtual hearings, which is to suspend Rule 19 altogether at the end of our orders. And that way, if somebody wants to object to Rule 19 for one of the items, certainly at that time you can vocalize that, thereby allowing us to amend the motion. And only suspending Rule 19 for those items that are unopposed. But I think this will save us some time in having to vote on Rule 19 over and over and over again. Of course, Rule 19 suspension would be a voice vote if we were in person. So with no objection to that, then we will move for the clerk to call item 19. And seeing none, I'll move for the clerk to call item 19.
Item 19 is a budget transfer within a department in the amount of $25,000.
Who's here to speak to this item?
Thank you, Mr. President. Lindsay Hackett, Deputy CAFO. So this is a transfer for our assessors department, and it's to move $25,000 from their salary surplus over to the professional services line. This will cover the amount of money that they needed for the Eversource case for this fiscal year.
And I see the chairman of the Board of Assessors is here, Chairman Greenlaw. Did you want to add?
I'm sorry, Patrick, I forgot you were here.
No, that's okay. No, I don't have anything to add at this time.
Thank you. Are there any questions for Lindsay or Patrick? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call the order to authorize the budget transfer.
On authorizing the transfer, Counselor Perez,
Yes.
yes, Counselor Curran,
Yes.
yes, Counselor Walsh,
Yes.
yes, Counselor Brown,
Yes.
yes, Counselor Davila,
Yes.
yes, Counselor Hurst,
Yes.
yes, Counselor Edwards,
Yes.
yes, Counselor Allen,
Yes.
yes, Counselor Govan,
Yes.
yes, Counselor Fenton,
Yes.
yes, Counselor Whitfield,
Yes.
yes, Counselor Letterman.
Yes, the votes are sufficient and the transfer is authorized. Madam Clerk, please call the next item.
The next item is a budget transfer within a department in the amount of $10,000.
Lindsay?
Thank you. So this is a transfer for our procurement department. And again, it's to move salary savings and $10,000 over to their advertising line, just to make it through the end of the fiscal year for advertising bids and RFPs.
Thank you. Are there any questions? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call the roll on authorizing the budget transfer.
On authorizing the transfer, Counselor Perez,
Yes.
yes, Counselor Curran,
Yes.
yes, Counselor Walsh,
Yes.
yes, Counselor Brown,
Yes.
yes, Counselor Davila,
Yes.
yes, Counselor Hurst,
Yes.
yes, Counselor Edwards,
Yes.
yes, Counselor Allen,
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Govan.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Fenton.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Whitfield.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Letterman.
Yes, the votes are sufficient and the transfer is approved. Madam Clerk, please call the next item.
The next item is a transfer FY 21 certified free cash to private ways in the amount of $1.5 million.
Lindsay?
Good evening, councilors. Chris Signoli, DPW Director. Last week, we opened bids on a roadway package for this year that included bonded money from last fall. And we will be doing $1.6 million worth of private ways. The mayor has determined that he would like to spend an additional 1.5 on private ways. And what our goal is, excuse me, is that the streets that we just opened the bids on are basically resurfacing and minor work. What I would like to use the new funds for is probably 3 to 5 streets that need significant work, dirt roads, areas that are in extreme deterioration in certain areas that will require a lot more work. We use about $1 million of that, and then about $500,000 of that we will be doing some additional private way paving throughout the city. The streets for that I have not picked yet. We need to do a little bit more investigation. The work probably wouldn't be bid until possibly later this summer.
Thank you, Chris. Are there any questions for Chris relative to this item? Councilor Govan.
Not a question, but just to thank you, because I know that that was one of my concerns for Chris when I first got on the council. And it was actually a follow-up from our previous colleague, Councilor Ramos, who paved the way, basically. No pun intended. And we finally got here, and I just want to thank Chris for just being receptive to this. And I want to thank State Representative Ramos for leading the course for the last few years. So thank you.
Thank you, Councilor.
Mr. President.
Thank you, Councilor Govan. Thank you, Chris. Are there any further questions? Seeing none, I was going to say before we vote on this, someone text Representative Ramos and let him know the vote is about to take place.
I already did.
Okay, all right.
I told Councilor Govan to take all the credit.
Yeah, he did.
I remember the first meeting this came up at was one of our town halls, and we had 10 councilors there. So, with that being said, a good vote. Madam Clerk, please call the roll on authorizing the transfer of certified free cash to private way.
On authorizing the transfer, Counselor Perez.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Curran.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Walsh.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Brown.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Davila.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Hurst.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Edwards.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Allen.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Govan.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Fenton.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Whitfield.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Letterman.
Yes, the votes are sufficient and the transfer is authorized. Madam Clerk, our next items 22, 23, and 24 under orders. I think a couple of them might have originally been under informational, but we do not need to suspend Rule 19 for them. So at this time, I'd entertain a motion to suspend Rule 19 for items 19, 20, and 21.
So moved.
Second.
Motion was made by Councilor Govan and seconded by Councilor Brown to suspend Rule 19 for items 19, 20, and 21. Madam Clerk, please call the roll on suspending Rule 19.
On suspension of Rule 19 for 19, 20, and 21, Counselor Perez.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Curran.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Walsh.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Brown.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Davila.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Hurst.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Edwards.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Allen.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Govan.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Fenton.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Whitfield.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Letterman.
Yes, the votes are unanimous and Rule 19 is suspended. Madam Clerk, please call the next item.
The next item is the April revenue versus expenditure report.
Comptroller Burns.
Thank you, Mr. President. Tonight you have the April revenue versus expenditure report. It represents 10 months of the fiscal year. And as Councilor Allen spoke about during the reports of committee, the $41.2 million payment from Eversource was received in April, and it's reflected in the report. The breakdown is 24.8 million in principal and 16.4 million in interest. And it represents fiscal years 2013 through 2022.
Thank you, Patrick. Are there any questions for Pat on the April revenue versus expenditure report? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call the roll to accept the report.
On accepting the report, Counselor Perez.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Curran.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Walsh.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Brown.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Davila.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Hurst.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Edwards.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Allen.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Govan.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Fenton.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Whitfield.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Letterman.
Yes, votes are sufficient. The report is accepted. Madam Clerk, please call the next item.
The next item is the April Law Department expense report.
Is there anybody here to speak to this item?
Thank you, Mr. President. Patrick Burns, 90 Clement Street, Springfield. Tonight, I'm presenting the April Law Department settlement case report. Unfortunately, Attorney D'Souza could not join us tonight, but as she had asked if anyone has any questions on the expenditures for April to contact her directly, and she'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Pat. Are there any questions tonight? I know Attorney D'Souza is not with us, but does anybody have anything else to say on this particular report? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call the roll to accept the report.
On accepting the report, Counselor Perez.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Curran.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Walsh.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Brown. Counselor Brown.
Yes. Yes.
Yes, Counselor Davila.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Hurst.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Edwards.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Allen.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Govan.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Fenton.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Whitfield.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Letterman.
Yes, the votes are sufficient and the report is accepted. Madam Clerk, please call the final order.
Final order is an order adjusting 41C.
Chairman Greenlaw.
Hi, good evening. Patrick Greenhall, Board of Assessors, 235 State Street in Springfield. And this is a order that would expand the parameters of who is eligible for a 41C exemption. This is a statutory clause that currently allows for someone who's of low income who could obtain a $500 abatement on their real estate tax. And this statute allows us to expand that a little bit, going from the age of 70 to age 65, and also doubling the amount of the exemption from $500 abatement to a $1,000 abatement. I would also note that not in front of you tonight is another order that we will likely have for next week's meeting, which will be a cost of living adjustment that is cumulative, and I would like for that to start in fiscal 23 as well. But for what is here for you tonight is to lower the age to 65 and increase the exemption to $1,000.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Are there any questions for the chair? Councilor Govan.
Thank you, Mr. President. Patrick, The 41C, is that the one that is, it doesn't matter about the income or
This is
No.
income based.
it is income based?
Correct. So part of an order for next week will have a cost of living adjustment as well. So for example, this year it would be a 7% increase. So that would be cumulative starting in fiscal 23.
Okay, because I do, remember those constituents that are actually in Ward 2, but they reached out to me and we talked about, so I'll be looking for more information on that. Thank you, Patrick. Thank you, Mr. President.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Councilor Govan. Councilor Davila, followed by Councilor Walsh.
Thank you, Mr. President. Good evening, Patrick. Patrick, would you mind giving me another 30-second review again of what the changes are?
Yes. So currently you have to be not only meet certain income and gross asset restrictions, but you also have to be over the age of 70. And the abatement that you received for fiscal 22 would have been $500 if you qualified for this. The changes that we're recommending tonight would lower the age from 70 to 65 and double the exemption amount from $500 to $1,000.
Okay, and do we know, Patrick, roughly in your estimation, how many people may qualify for that in the city?
Yes, so for last fiscal year, it was approximately 240 households. And I would note that that number has crept down a little bit, and I think partly is because of that cost of living adjustment order that you will see next week as well.
Okay, so that means that for this year, we might be able to save people $2.4 million roughly, if this goes through in abatements.
No, so if it was, it'd be about 240,000 total.
Sorry, so yeah, 240,000. I did my math wrong. Yes, I got excited. 2.4 million. That's a lot of money. All right, 240,000. So, okay, and because I know I saw this in the budget plan, and okay, and now will this be a home rule petition, or this will not be? Because I believe I saw something as a home rule petition.
That's correct. So no, this just requires a city council approval and mayor's approval as well. We are working internally on a home rule petition that will be linked to some MGM money that would also basically essentially mirror this program, but would allow it for anyone who's under the age of 65. But we're still working out some details, so stay tuned on that.
All right, so basically you're looking for us to approve this, and when will this take effect?
This would be for fiscal 23.
2023. Okay. All right. Thank you, Patrick. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councilor Davila. Councilor Walsh, followed by Councilor Fenton.
Thank you very much, Mr. President, and thank you, Patrick. I'm very happy to support this. I think any relief we can give to our residents is great. And following on what Councilor Davila asked, I was curious about the requests that you get for something like this. I mean, what propelled you to do it?
Why would someone come to us asking for?
No. How many people have requested this? I mean, what made you want to see this change?
Oh, so we certainly get some applicants who are under the age of 70 who would qualify. So at this point, it's within our statutory discretion to choose to lower the age and increase the dollar amount of the exemption. So we certainly feel it's the right thing to do. And like I said, for next week will be a cost of a living adjustment. And I think that component has capped people from receiving it, because if you don't adjust the income that's allowed under the maximum income restrictions, then eventually, people earn more in Social Security and they're eventually going to be capped out. So I think all of these changes to the 41C program, I'm hoping we would see more participants, more people who would qualify.
Okay, thank you. Nice job.
Thank you.
Councilor Walsh, Councilor Fenton.
Thank you, Mr. President. Patrick, I think this is terrific. I do have some questions about the reimbursement that the state provides, I believe, for a portion of this program. And given that we have a meeting next Monday, 7 days from today, and you're also going to be presenting a COLA adjustment request to 41C, I'm going to make a motion to send this to committee. I have a general government committee meeting that's going to be scheduled for Monday at 4 o'clock, and would love an opportunity to discuss this and the COLA adjustment proposal further.
No, yeah, no objection.
Second.
Motion has been made to refer this to the General Government Committee. That motion was made by Councilor Fenton and seconded by Councilor Walsh. Madam Clerk, was there any debate on the motion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, could you please call the roll on referring this item to the General Government Committee?
On referring item 24 to the General Government Committee, Councilor Perez.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Curran.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Walsh.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Brown.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Davila.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Hurst.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Edwards.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Allen.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Govan.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Fenton.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Whitfield.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Letterman.
Yes, the votes are sufficient and the item is referred to the General Government Committee. Madam Clerk, we'll now move to our special permits for the evening.
Item number 25 is for a special permit for a mixed-use building at the property known as 443 State Street.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. This item is on for, I believe, the second hearing and for final approval. We'll begin with the clerk letting us know if we've received any testimony since the last hearing in favor of the project.
We have not.
And have we received any testimony since the last meeting in opposition to the project?
No, we have not.
Seeing none, the hearing on this is still open. I know that the petitioner and their counsel is present. So does the petitioner wish to share any further information relative to the project?
Thank you, Councilman or Mr. President. At this time, no, I guess what I'll do is just, again, give a brief overview of the project for those who may have not been on the call at the last meeting. But we're looking to convert a vacant building that's been vacant for about close to 20 years. It's the former Kavanaugh building to a mixed-use project that will provide some new commercial tenants in the building, and also provide 31 one-bedroom residential units. Additionally, we're going to create 29 temporary construction jobs and 16 permanent full-time equivalent jobs for Springfield residents.
Thank you, Mr. Mitchell. And I see Attorney Ryan, former Councilor Ryan. Welcome back.
Good evening, Mr. President. Actually, I'm not here on behalf of that, but I do represent the seller, and the seller's all in favor.
Oh, certainly. I'm sorry, Tim. I saw you and Councilor Allen are both on here as Tim's iPhone. And so I apologize for any confusion. I'm going to rename you all and we'll go forward. Is there any other testimony, anybody present to testify in favor or against? And if there is not, then I am going to, I see we have counselors with questions. We'll do the counselor questions during deliberation. But at this time, is there any further testimony from the public? Actually, we'll keep the hearing open for the counselor questions to the petitioner, and then we'll move to deliberation. So we'll go to Counselor Brown, followed by Counselor Allen.
Thank you, Mr. President. Now, it came to my attention, is it, who's actually housing? Who's actually going to be housed in those units?
Right now, we have a partnership with MHA, so they're going to occupy 25 of the proposed 31 one-bedroom units.
Okay, and the actual residents, there'll be people who deal with mental health issues?
I'm not sure.
Well, that's what the actual MHA deals with, or could I go there, or somebody, off the street, could they just go and rent an apartment from them? Is that what it consists of?
I can't really, I guess I'm not the best person to speak to their program, but I'll try to give you some context because I have a partnership with them.
Excuse me. Hold on. Excuse me. Maybe it wouldn't be you. It's MH. Are they on?
No, I don't believe they're on this call.
Okay.
So from my understanding, Counselor, MHA provides mental health services, but they also have a housing component, and they have different components within MHA where they provide services to, people in need within our community. So they do more than just one thing, but housing is one of the components they provide to their client base.
Yes, being a chief of staff in the House of Representatives for over 8 years, I understand what services they offer. They're definitely a great organization. I commend them. I do understand exactly the demographic also. Did you have an opportunity to speak with any of the neighborhood councils? And last time I spoke, I still work as chief of staff to State Rep Bud Williams, and he was the vice chair of redistricting. So I do understand how it might say it's 5, but if you walk across the street, it's still my area. And if you were to come up the street to get to the Pine Point Neighborhood Council, you would have to, once you pass every single one of my council, because I still rode and look, it's still 20 miles up the road. So it would still be more my community. I do understand redistricting. My actual state office, I split it with Rep Gonzalez. So when you talk to the actual stick, one half a stick is Rep Gonzalez, the other half is our actual district. So it's really just like actually walking across the street. So I've talked to a lot of the neighborhood councils and the individuals in our community, and I just wondered, did you have a chance to talk to any of the neighborhood councils?
As I stated at the last meeting, the neighborhood council I reached out to was the Maple High Six Corner Neighborhood Council, because that was the one that I was advised to reach out to based on where the building's located. So that was the one we did. We reached out to Councilor Edwards. We sent a lot of project information, which is really the project summary that we shared with the city council, to that neighborhood council. And my understanding was they just didn't have a quorum, so there was really no opportunity for me to engage them. But Councilor Edwards felt that the information that we provided was sufficient to at least the members of that neighborhood council who at least had a chance to review it.
Yeah, and I thank you for your due diligence. But as far as the neighborhood councils in my area and the people of my area, they're really terrified as far as putting, and I respect the different services that the institutions offer. I believe that we do need it, but you're talking about putting that right next to our high school. So I think a lot of times when we don't want to mention who's going to rent it, I know why no one wants to mention it, because you're talking about putting right next to the high school an at-risk population that we want to mentor and we do want to love. But I don't want to put them right next to my children right there, those kids leaving in and out of that school. So with that in mind, I know my neighborhood is terrified. I would want to move it to a committee.
Thank you,
so
Councilor
we can find out a little bit more information. We can have a lot more of the neighborhood involved in this. So I move this to committee.
Thank you, Council Brown. Council Brown, a motion to committee is not in order, but you can make a motion to continue. We can't put
Motion
the
to
special
continue.
permit in. Okay, we can take a motion to continue. Motion to
Motion
continue.
to continue.
Motion to continue has been made by Councilor Brown. That motion was seconded by Councilor Allen. Is there any discussion on the motion? Seeing no discussion on the motion, before we call the roll on the motion, I just want to make the petitioner aware the result of this motion would be that your item would be continued to the next meeting. The hearing would be kept open, so testimony can continue, and then that would be the process relative to what would occur if this motion passed. So seeing no further deliberation on the motion, Madam Clerk, please call the roll on the motion by Councilor Brown to continue this item to the next meeting.
On continuing the item, Counselor Perez.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Curran.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Walsh.
No,
No, Counselor Brown.
Big yes.
Yes, Counselor Davila.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Hurst.
No.
No, Counselor Edwards. Counselor Edwards.
No.
No, Counselor Allen.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Govan.
No.
No, Counselor Fenton.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Whitfield.
No.
No, Counselor Letterman.
Yes, Madam Clerk, can you give us a vote count?
5 noes and 7 yeses.
The matter is continued to the next meeting of the City Council. Madam Clerk, please call the next item.
The next item on the agenda is to amend an existing special permit granted May 2014 and amended June 2021 for 9 York Street at the property also known as 693 through 703 East Columbus Avenue.
Is there anybody here to speak to this item?
Good evening, Mr. President. Timothy Ryan, 72 Morningside Park. I'm here on behalf of the petitioner, Mr. Belize. And as we indicated last time, this is simply a request to better organize and frame the existing car wash, which was, there's 2 special permits, or a special permit and amended special permit. So this would be in a further amendment to allow the driveway to be on the easternmost end of the property on York Street. It'd be moving the driveway approximately 50 to 65 feet due east, Mr. President, up the street.
Thank you, Attorney Ryan. Did we receive any testimony since the last hearing, Madam Clerk, in favor of this item?
We have not.
And did we hear any testimony against the item?
No, we have not.
And is there anybody present here today to testify either in favor or against? And before we close the hearing and enter deliberation, are there any questions for Attorney Ryan? Seeing none, I will now declare the hearing on this item closed and we'll enter deliberation. Are there any questions or deliberation testimony from counselors relative to this special permit? Seeing none, we will entertain a motion to approve the permit as conditioned.
Make a motion.
Councilor Whitfield has made a motion to approve with conditions. Seconded by Councilor Davila. Madam Clerk, please call the roll on approving the special permit.
On approving the special permit, Counselor Perez.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Curran.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Walsh.
yes,
Yes, Counselor Brown.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Davila.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Hurst.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Edwards.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Allen.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Govan.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Fenton.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Whitfield.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Letterman.
Yes, the votes are sufficient and the special permit is approved. Madam Clerk,
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, counselors.
thank you, Attorney Ryan. Congratulations to you and Mr. Boyce.
Congrats.
Is there, Madam Clerk, please call the next item.
Mr. President,
Oh.
I have to read the reasons for approval.
Oh, yes,
of the
Counselor Perez.
permit.
Thank you, Counselor Perez. Counselor Perez with the reasons.
Reasons for granted permit. Number one, the specific site is an appropriate location for such a use, structure, or condition. Number two, the use of a develop will not adversely affect the neighborhood. Number three, adequate and appropriate facilities will be provided for the proper operation of the proposed use. Number four, to incorporate the planning staff analysis into the decision at the basis of the findings.
Thank you, Counselor Perez. Madam Clerk, please call the roll to accept the reasons as read.
On accepting the reasons, Counselor Perez.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Curran.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Walsh. Counselor Walsh.
Counselor Walsh appears to be frozen.
Yes.
Oh, she's back, and that was a yes.
Yes, Counselor Brown.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Davila.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Hurst.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Edwards.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Allen.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Govan.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Fenton.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Whitfield.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Letterman.
Yes, and the reasons are adopted. Madam Clerk, please call the next permit.
The next permit is to amend an existing special permit, motor vehicle sales granted March 2021 on 472 Boston Road and North Side Boston Road.
Is there anybody here to speak to this permit?
Yes, hi there. Can you hear me? Hello?
Hello.
Yes, this is Sanjay Patel. I'm the owner of 484 and 472 Boston Road.
Thank you, Mr. Patel, for being back with us. And at this time, do you have anything to add relative to your petition?
No, we have no further information that we can add.
Madam Clerk, have we received any further testimony in favor of this proposal?
No, we have not.
And have we received any further testimony in opposition?
No, we have not.
And are there any questions for the petitioner from the council before we close the public hearing? Seeing none. There was one aspect to this particular petition. Phil, if you're with us.
Yeah.
You can't do that.
Yep, I'm here.
I wanted to see if you wanted to be recognized because I know there was a specific recommendation.
Well, the only concern I have is as part of the original special permit, which was granted back in 2008, this particular piece of property is also located on a portion of what was Hobson Street. Hobson Street was legally discontinued. However, an A&R plan was never completed by the owner of the property at that time, which incorporated Hobson Street into the overall parcel. So I just want to remind Mr. Patel that is something that needs to be completed. Because, they've been using Hobson Street for we're going on 15 years now, and it is not being legally assessed as part of the operation. So I just want to be sure that gets completed because that should have been done years ago.
Yes, as you pointed out last time we talked that I need to do that, which I'm working on it. And as we speak, I contacted a company in West Springfield. They're gonna come and do the AR report, but since the COVID and short of help, they couldn't do it within a couple of weeks. So they give me a time limit, a month, and I surely will submit that as soon as.
Okay, that's fine. That's all. I just wanted to make sure it gets completed as part of this approval.
Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any further questions before we close the public hearing? Seeing none, at this time, we will declare the public hearing has been closed and will enter deliberation. Is there any counselor wishing to speak on this item? Seeing none, we will, Counselor Fenton.
Can anybody, whose ward is this, and has the neighborhood council for this area provided a letter, Mr. President or Madam Clerk?
Phil, relative to Counselor Fenton's question, this would be either Ward 8 or Ward 5. Do you have?
Well, I mean, it would be Pine Point, but I can't say whether the petitioner has contacted them or not. They, you know, as with all special permits, I recommend that they do, but it is up to the petitioner to take that step.
I did contacted John Lysek and I never heard anything back from that. And initially, a few months back when we applied it for this hearing, they were all approved. So this time we're not requesting any new approval, we're just changing the name. So since they didn't get back to me, I didn't think that, and I didn't get a confirmation saying that there is must.
Thank you, Mr. Patel. Phil, the only thing that's happening here is a name change?
Yeah, it's amending the petitioner's name to the special permit so that it'll remain, all the other conditions will remain the same.
That's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Counselor Fenton. Any further questions from counselors? Seeing none, I will entertain a motion to approve the special permit as conditioned.
So move.
Second.
And the motion has been made by Counselor Brown, seconded by Counselor Davila to approve the special permit as conditioned. Madam Clerk, can you please call the roll?
On approving the special permit, Counselor Perez.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Curran.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Walsh.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Brown.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Davila.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Hurst.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Edwards.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Allen.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Govan.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Fenton.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Whitfield.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Letterman.
Yes, the votes are sufficient and the special permit is approved. Counselor Perez with the reasons.
Reasons for granted permit: the specific site is an appropriate location for such a use, structure, or condition. The use as developed will not adversely affect the neighborhood. Adequate and appropriate facility will be provided for the proper operation of the proposed use. To incorporate the planning staff analysis into the decision at the basis of the findings.
Thank you, Counselor Perez. Madam Clerk, can you please call the roll to accept the reasons?
On accepting the reasons, Counselor Perez.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Curran.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Walsh.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Brown.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Davila.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Hurst.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Edwards.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Allen.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Govan.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Fenton.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Whitfield.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Letterman.
Yes, the votes are sufficient and the reasons are accepted. Madam Clerk, congratulations. Madam Clerk, please call the next item.
The next item is for a special permit to operate an adult use marijuana establishment, storefront retail on a portion of the properties known as Southside Boston Road and Westside Lamont Street.
Madam Clerk, this is on for its second hearing and final vote. Have we received any testimony since our last meeting in favor?
No, we have not.
Have we received any testimony against?
No, we have not.
Seeing none, would the petitioner like to make any additional statement while the hearing is open relative to the status of their petition?
Hi, my name is Sabino Caracciolo. I'm president of Pure Retailers LLC. I just wanted to Just say my entire team is here to answer any questions that anyone may have relative to the project. I know some time has passed and maybe some questions have arisen, or if there's any further technical explanation of the project necessary, we're prepared to answer any of those questions anyone may have.
Thank you. Are there any questions for the petitioner from the council? Councilor Davila.
Thank you, Mr. President. Yes, Sabino, would you refresh my memory? Where are you proposing to be located again?
Sure. So it's the currently vacant former Russell's Restaurant site on 461 Boston Road.
Mhm. Okay, okay. And you were selected, when were you selected?
This last round of the RFP.
Okay, and just, I want, what number you came in?
Fourth.
You came in fourth. Okay, very well, very well. Yeah, you appeared in front of us a little while back. Okay, I remember. It's jogging my memory.
Yes, the 23rd.
Okay, and you did meet with I think that was John Lysak on the neighborhood council, is that correct?
Correct. We received a letter of support from John Lysak, as well as the direct abutter to the property, which we presented to you on the 23rd.
Yeah, that lot there, okay, that's being empty for a while, right?
I believe it's been over a decade. It's been quite some time that it's been, in the existing conditions that it is been currently.
Okay, all right, thank you, Sabino. That's another question. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Davila. Councilor Allen.
Thank you, Mr. President. Yes, sir. Are you the, I know that you want to build a adult marijuana place there, but are you the owner there or are you leasing?
So the capital partners behind the project have basically an agreement with the existing landlord to purchase the property and fully commit to the project upon approval of the special permit and us being able to move forward with the project.
Okay, thank you. And who is the current owner?
Nicholas Graham.
That's right. I think he tried to do something else with that property along the way. Yeah, what is your time frame, sir?
Upon approval of the special permit, we see about a 9-month construction window. The GC is actually on this call right now if you would like any further details about the project, but the project is fully funded and ready to go. Upon approval, we can start immediately.
I may have, thank you, and I may have asked this a couple of weeks ago. You are part of a national organization of stores by that same name, is that right, or is that not right?
So we were a local team, and we, in searching for capital, obviously this is a bit of an outlier project. We're one of the only ones having to do a new construction and full site development. But we did choose a capital partners that do have national experience in operating, just to make sure that this runs a lot smoother and our commitment to the city and the neighborhood are secured. So they do have that experience. We're project developers across the country for different verticals within the cannabis industry. If that helps clarify.
Yeah, and my last question is just, where's your closest retail store besides this one?
We do not have another retail establishment. Our capital partners do, and that is in Northampton.
Okay. What is the name of that? Is that Netta?
Ember.
Ember, did you say?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Councilor Davila. Are there any further questions for the petitioner? Seeing none, at this time, we will declare the public hearing closed and enter deliberation among the councilors. Is there any deliberation to be had? Seeing no deliberation, at this time, we'll entertain a motion to approve the special permit as conditioned.
So moved.
Motion has been
Second.
made by Counselor Walsh and seconded by Counselor Davila. Madam Clerk, please call the roll on approval of the special permit with conditions.
On approval of the special permit, Counselor Perez.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Curran.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Walsh.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Brown.
Recuse.
Recuse, Counselor Davila.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Hurst.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Edwards.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Allen.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Govan.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Fenton.
Recuse.
Recuse, Counselor Whitfield.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Williams. Oh, I'm sorry, Counselor Letterman.
Yes, the votes are sufficient and the special permit is approved with conditions. Before we move to the reasons, I just want to make sure I had the motioners right. It was Counselor Walsh that made the motion to approve, and who was the second?
Counselor Davila.
Counselor
No,
Davila.
I think it was me. Go
It was
back.
Council. I thought it was Councilor Allen.
No, I seconded it.
Okay.
Seconded it.
So for the record, it was motioned by Counselor Walsh and seconded by Counselor Govan. Thank you, Counselor Davila.
Thank
and
you.
Counselor Perez with the reasons.
Reasons for granted permit. Number one, the specific site is an appropriate location for such a use, structure, or condition. Number two, the use as developed will not adversely affect the neighborhood. Number three, adequate and appropriate facilities will be provided for the proper operation of the proposed use. Number four, to incorporate the planning staff analysis into the decision at the basis of the findings.
Thank you, Counselor Perez. Madam Clerk, please call the roll to accept the reasons.
On accepting the reasons, Counselor Perez.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Curran.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Walsh.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Brown. Counselor Brown.
Counselor Brown is recused.
Recuse, Counselor Davila.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Hurst.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Edwards.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Allen.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Govan.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Fenton recused. Counselor Whitfield.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Letterman.
Yes, the votes are sufficient and the reasons are accepted. Congratulations to the petitioner.
Thank you, council members.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, please call the next item.
The next item is item number 29 for a special permit for motor vehicle sales at the property known as 961 East Columbus Avenue.
And Madam Clerk, this is on for the second hearing and possible final vote. Have we received any testimony in favor of the petition since our last meeting?
We have not.
And have we received any testimony in opposition?
We have received an email from the same individual that submitted testimony that was read into the record at the last meeting. It reiterates the same information. I've highlighted a few portions that can be read into the record this evening, but it's pretty much word for word what I read last time.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. And for the record, I know that I received testimony mailed to me that was, I believe, the same. Counselor Perez.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. If I recall from the last meeting, we have requested, because we have so many questions, the manager of the property to be here tonight based on the questions of the last meeting with the handling of the parking and the management.
Yes, Council Perez, thank you. With that in mind, as raised by Council Perez, is the petitioner present this evening? And if so, could you please introduce yourself again, as well as introduce anybody else who is with you relative to the management of the property?
Yes, my name is Jeremy Ober, and I am the owner of 961 East Columbus Avenue. I tried to get the current tenants to come onto this meeting. I thought they would be here, but it looks like they are not.
Thank you. Do you wish to share any additional testimony with the council while the hearing is open relative to your petition?
I'm just looking to park, maybe 2 cars a month for sale in my gated parking area. Pretty small, nothing big, just to help with the cost of the property taxes and the loan that I have on the building. Try to offset it a little bit, but just really small, nothing big. Maybe 2 cars a month in my gated parking area. That's it, very small.
Thank you. Does that conclude your testimony?
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Thank you. Are there any questions for the petitioner while the hearing is open? We'll go first to Councilor Hurst, followed by Councilor Dappler.
I just wanted to make a motion to continue this until we're able to have a conversation with the actual tenants. It seems to me like we should hear from them before having any vote.
Second.
Councilman Hurst. Motion has been made to continue to the next meeting by Councilor Hurst. There was a second by Councilor Fenton. Is there any discussion on the motion? Councilor Davila?
Not necessarily, Mr. President. I'm gonna second that motion and support it. I just want to make sure, Mr. President, that the proponent fully understands that a denial from us, I believe, it requires a 2-year waiting period, cool-off period. And so I think it's a good move to continue this discussion to iron out any potential kinks on this plan, sir.
That is correct. Thank you, Councilor Davila. Councilor Edwards on the motion. Councilor Edwards, the floor is yours.
I will not support a motion for continue. And I'd like to offer the reason for it because I didn't expect it was going to be continued. As jurists in this particular process, I believe, and I know that Councilor Hurst and Councilor Fenton are both lawyers. There's something called the clean hand doctrine. And when we're granting these special permits, I've said to before that it's how important it is because people generally only tell us just enough to make judgments that make them look well. There was testimony about parking and the number of cars on site the last time we had a hearing. That was on a Monday. I've got a picture on my phone of the Tuesday afternoon, midday, when I drove by with my wife on Columbus Avenue and the car was for sale. So this site is the site where we're trying to decide whether we should grant a special permit for the sale of cars. And on that particular day, Tuesday, May 24th, which is the day after our last discussion on this issue, at 2:58 p.m. was a silver Volvo on site for sale, not behind the fence either, but on the closest parking space to the sidewalk along East Columbus Avenue on the property that we are now deciding whether to grant a special permit for. I came back the next day, the car had been moved, same car, to inside the fence along the street, inside on the property, with the grease paint still on the side of the car for sale. The other thing that I'd like to point out and why I'm opposed to this permit and even the delay of denial of this permit is that the petitioner owns the property and he does not live in the area, is proposing to sell cars on site. And I believe part of his testimony was before that the complaints and the issues that were, regardless of what was said by the neighbor closest to the property, it was testimony offered by Phil Dromey that they have a record of history on site of violations, which we have no reason to doubt the veracity of which. That being said, so the man who owns the property is the petitioner. The site, as we're considering giving the permit for, when we originally were granting the permit, what was discussed was we would grant them an opportunity to operate this business on site. And I believe a part of that was in the future, they would come back and ask us for a opportunity to set a special permit to sell cars on the site. Well, what we're considering now is granting a special permit to the owner of the property. So I just need for everybody to understand, the people who are operating on the site, who were supposed to acquire the house next door, move into the house, we're going to sell the cars at that site, etc., are the ones who are operating, but they're not the ones who are applying for the permit that is before us now. So we know, as you know, Victor just, or Councilor Davila just referenced, if we deny it's 2 years, but at the same time, it doesn't preclude the operators that are presently operating the auto business from coming and applying for a permit, I don't believe. But just so you know, when we granted this operation, it was the understanding that those people who are operating the business now would come back in the future and would ask for a permit. That's not who is before us asking for a permit now. So I was under the impression when we granted it, they owned the property and were acquiring the house next door to the property. What the testimony today that we're considering is that somebody who doesn't live in the area who owned the property and apparently has been collecting rent. And maybe I'm misinformed in some part along this path, but as it stands right now, I will vote no for delay and I vote no for the permit. And I'd be interested to hear both what my colleagues and what Phil has to say regarding this issue. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Edwards. We'll go to Councilor Hurst on the motion, then we'll go to Councilor Davila on the motion.
Yeah, I appreciate your due diligence, Councilor. And so with that said, I'll withdraw my motion.
Me too.
The motion
Me
has
too.
been withdrawn. Councilor Fenton has also withdrawn his second, so the motion is dead. And we'll now move back into the public hearing. Councilor Davila, we are currently in the public hearing portion. Do you have any questions for the petitioner relative to their petition?
Yes, Mr. President, I was just going to say I concur with Councilor Edwards, and Councilor Edwards, thank you for shining light on this topic. To the petitioner, I'm just a little surprised that the tenant is not here, and that honestly does concern me. Any thoughts? They
said they were going to be on this meeting. I just assumed that they were going to be here. I don't know. I don't know what to say.
All right, thank you.
But they're not going to be asking for a car sales license in the near future. It's just me petitioning for this. So you're not going to give them one anyways, even if I was approved. So you're not going to give both of us one. So I don't see where the discrepancy is.
Well, let's. Sorry, with all due respect, the city council is within its infinite wisdom. Nobody can fully predict what they're going to do, sir. So, Mr. President, I would love to hear from Phil.
Yes, thank you, Councilor Davila. At Councilor Davila's invitation, Mr. Dromey.
Well, I just wanted to clarify that a new petitioner could not ask, it's not the petitioner, it's the use. If this use is denied, the same use cannot be asked for 2 years. So once it's denied, a new guy can't run in and ask for the same thing. If this is denied, they will not be able to sell cars here for 2 years.
Thank you, Phil. Councilor Davila, did you have anything further before we go to Councilor Perez?
I was just going to say, did we get any other communication from the neighborhood, sir? Relative to this?
Madam, the clerk had entered into the record that the individual who had previously written to us had submitted the same testimony again.
Same, okay.
And councilors, I just want to jump in real quick. I forgot to mention, I did ask Mike Jacob, who's the zoning administrator, who deals with the review of special permits, to go out to the site. He did send inspectors out to the site. There were some issues that were related to unregistered vehicles that needed to be resolved, but Mike did indicate that was completed. So in his opinion, the existing special permit is in compliance. So I just wanted to mention that.
Very well. Thank you, Phil. Thank you, Mr. President. Those are my questions.
Thank you, Councilor Davila. Councilor Perez.
Thank you, Mr. President. That was my concern, and I was gonna bring it to the floor because at the last meeting, we had a combination. We were going, the petitioner was petitioning to be approved for this particular petition, but at the interim, we have a bigger concern reported by Councilor Edwards of the parking area and all other issues. So Phil addressed what I was gonna ask. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councilor Perez. Are there any further questions for the petitioner while the hearing remains open? Seeing no further questions for the petitioner, we will now declare that the hearing has been closed. We will enter deliberations of the council. Is there any council that wishes to be recognized? Seeing none, then at this time I would entertain any motion that any council would like to make with regard to the special permit.
I'll make a motion that we deny the special permit.
Motion has been made to deny by Councilor Edwards. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilor Davila. Are there any deliberation on the motion? Seeing none at this time, Madam Clerk, we would ask that you call the roll on the motion to deny the special permit. And I just want to clarify, this is a motion to deny the special permit. That would mean that a yes vote would result in the special permit being denied. A no vote on the motion to deny would result in the special permit being granted. So if you are in favor of granting the permit, you would vote no. And if you are in favor of denying the permit, you would vote yes. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
On denying the permit, for item number 29, Councilor Perez.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Curran.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Walsh.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Brown.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Davila.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Hurst.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Edwards.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Allen.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Govan.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Fenton.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Whitfield.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Letterman.
Yes, the vote is sufficient and the permit is denied. Councilor Perez on the reasons for denial.
Reasons denied permit. Number one, the specific site is not an appropriate location for such a use, structure, or condition. Number two, the use as developed will adversely affect the neighborhood. Number three, adequate and appropriate facility will not be provided for the proper operation of the proposed use. Number four, to incorporate the planning staff analysis into the decision at the basis of the findings.
Thank you, Councilor Perez. Madam Clerk, please call the roll on acceptance of the reasons.
On accepting the reasons, Councilor Perez.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Curran.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Walsh.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Brown.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Davila.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Hurst.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Edwards.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Allen.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Govan.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Fenton.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Whitfield.
Yes.
Yes, Councilor Letterman.
Yes, thank you, Madam Clerk. The votes are sufficient and the reasons are accepted. Madam Clerk, please call the final special permit.
Is number 30 for a dimensional special permit for the reduction of the rear and side yards at the properties known as Southside Morris Street, Northside Central Street, and that is all.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. This hearing is on for its second hearing with possible final approval this evening. Have we received any testimony in favor since our last hearing?
We have not.
Have we received any testimony in opposition?
No, we have not.
And is the petitioner with us, and do they wish to share any additional information relative to their petition?
Hi, good evening. This is Jasper McCoy representing Home City Development as the project manager. I have no further information to share with the council tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Jasper. Are there any further questions while the hearing remain open for Jasper? Mr. McCoy? Seeing none, we'll now declare that the hearing is closed and we'll move to deliberation by the councilors. Are there any further deliberations to be had relative to this permit? Seeing none, we'll entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Motion was made by Councilor Govan, and it was seconded by Councilor Whitfield. Madam Clerk, on the motion to approve, again, this is a motion to approve. A yes vote would approve, a no vote would deny.
On approving, Counselor Perez.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Kern.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Walsh.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Brown.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Davila.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Hurst.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Edwards.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Allen.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Govan.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Fenton.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Whitfield.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Letterman.
Yes, the votes are sufficient. The permit is approved. Councilor Perez with the reasons.
Reasons for granted permit. Number one, the specific site is an appropriate location for such a use, structure, or condition. Number two, the use as developed will not adversely affect the neighborhood. Number three, adequate and appropriate facility will be provided for the proper operation of the proposed use. Number four, to incorporate the planning staff analysis into the decision at the basis of the findings.
Thank you, Councilor Perez. Madam Clerk, please call the roll on accepting the reasons.
On accepting the reasons, Counselor Perez.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Kern.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Walsh.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Brown.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Davila.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Hurst.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Edwards.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Allen.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Govan.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Fenton.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Whitfield.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Letterman.
Yes, the votes are sufficient and the reasons are approved. Madam Clerk, please call item 31.
The next item on the agenda is for the area generally bounded by State Street, Main Street, Willow Street, Stockbridge Street, Park Street, and it's a zone change from Business B to Business C.
Ms. Pham? Is there anybody here to speak to this item? I see SRA Director Pham is on the line.
I can speak as well if Amanda's not there.
I think she just got unmuted.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I am here. Yeah, so the purpose of this zone change is to align the current zoning with the reference parcels for conformity in the metro area from B to C. It's an important objective from the original amendment of the Court Square Urban Renewal Plan and even subsequent amendments throughout. So this just creates consistency in the district to further development. I don't know, Phil, if you want to add anything. I know.
Yeah, no, as I mentioned last time, there's a number of parcels located in kind of the general area between State, Main, and Union and Park Street that are currently zoned Business B. They were identified in the urban renewal plan several years ago to be rezoned to Business C, which the majority of the downtown is. So a change to Business C does not adversely affect any of the existing businesses down there. It actually gives them a little a plus because in Business C, you are not required to have on-site parking. Business B, if you were to have a use like a restaurant or a new retail use, you would be required show them that you've got on-site parking. Business C does not have that same requirement as you can utilize the parking areas throughout downtown. So again, it wouldn't adversely affect any of the existing businesses down there, and it would make the zoning consistent with the larger downtown.
Thank you, Phil. Are there any questions for Phil or Amanda relative to final passage of this zone change? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, can you just clarify how many votes are needed for passage?
On this 7.
Okay.
I do, Counselor, sorry to jump in. This is because it's an ordinance. I think this is the first step, and then I think you got to take a second and third at the next meeting, I believe.
Madam Clerk, can you clarify what order this is on for? Because I thought
Second and third.
Oh, okay. I apologize.
I just wanted to check. Counselor Whitfield has had to step away, so she will be absent for the final votes. Counselors, hearing no further questions, then we will move for the clerk to call the roll on the zone change.
So move.
We don't need a motion. It's on for second and third step. A yes vote would approve the zone change. A no vote would deny it. Madam Clerk, please call the roll on the zone change.
Counselor Perez on the zone change?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Curran?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Walsh?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Brown?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Davila?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Hurst?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Edwards?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Allen?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Govan?
Yeah.
Yes. Counselor Fenton?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Whitfield? Away. Counselor Letterman?
Yes, the votes are sufficient and the zone change is approved. Thank you. Madam Clerk, please call the next item.
Next item is item number 32, an ordinance to require 30 days notice of project seeking appropriation over $1 million from free cash or the stabilization fund.
This item is on for second and third step. Counselor Walsh.
Yes, I spoke earlier with Counselor Fenton, and we're going to make a motion to refer this to committee.
Second.
Motion has been made to refer the item to the General Government Committee, made by Counselor Walsh and seconded by Counselor Fenton. Any discussion? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, can you please call the roll on the reference to committee?
On referring this item to general government, Counselor Perez?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Curran?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Walsh?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Brown?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Davila?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Hurst?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Edwards?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Allen?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Govan? Yes. Counselor Fenton?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Whitfield? Away. Counselor Letterman?
Yes, the votes are sufficient. The item is referred to the General Government Committee. Madam Clerk, can you please call the final item of the night?
Final item is for the creation of the La Marquise Local Historic District for the property known as 2612 through 2616 Main Street.
Alvin Allen is here for this item, I believe, and this item is on for first step.
Hi, good evening, councilors. My name is Alvin Allen, Principal Planner with the Planning Department. We do have the property owner or the preferred developer for the property. The property is actually owned by the city of Springfield, but Mr. Whitman is part of the development team who will take the building over. So I'll give the floor to him to explain what he's looking to do with the building. And if there's any questions in regards to the process of of creating the district, I can certainly answer those questions, but I'll turn the floor over to Mr. Tony Whitman.
Mr. Whitman.
Thanks, Alvin. Good evening, everyone. Yeah, we're here again for 2612 Main Street, which I think we all really excited to move forward into the development phase. We're still in the working through the pre-development phase here. Tonight, we're asking for a local historic district to be established to include this one building, and that's going to enable some security with the CPA funds and historic credits.
Thank you, Mr. Whitman. Are there any questions for Mr. Allen or Mr. Whitman relative to first step on the creation of the local historic district? Councilor Perez.
Thank you, President. I just want to say that this is a building that has been in my ward, and it's been a building that it will benefit the community. As you know, I'm in Dyer, always advocating for housing. I'm excited about the project. Finally, we have been having this decayed building in my ward for over 10 years, and I think this is a good project. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Councilor Perez. Are there any further questions? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, please call the roll on approval of first step for the local historic district.
On first steps, Counselor Perez.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Curran.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Walsh.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Brown.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Davila.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Hurst.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Edwards.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Allen.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Govan.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Fenton.
Yes.
Yes, Counselor Whitfield away. Counselor Letterman.
Yes, the votes are sufficient and first step is approved. Thank you to the petitioners on this ordinance. And Madam Clerk, is there any further business before the City Council this evening?
There is not.
Seeing none, we will stand adjourned until our next regular meeting, which is June 13th at 7 p.m. Also, I'd just remind councilors we have our final budget hearing on Wednesday at 5:30. And one additional announcement that I neglected to mention at the very beginning of the meeting is councilors should be aware that the open meeting law allowance that has allowed for fully virtual meetings is going to be expiring mid-July. I've asked our staff to reach out and get a better understanding of what will and will not be allowed after that. And I'm also meeting with Focus relative to making sure that we are adequately able to return to the chamber when it is necessary. Councilor Allen, did you have a question on that? I don't want to have too much deliberation on it. I just wanted councilors to be aware of it.
No, no question on that. Just a question on our schedule for the month. It's unusual for us to have regular meetings 2 weeks in a row. We normally have them 2 weeks apart. Is there a reason, and do we have is there a reason that we didn't meet on the 20th? Do we have something else on the 20th?
Well, Council, this schedule was set by former President Williams, so I can't speak exactly to his logic at that time, but I will certainly look into it and see what the reason was. It must have something to do with
Juneteenth. We're celebrating Juneteenth on the 20th. So City Hall is closed for business today.
That was going to be my next
okay.
holiday.
Great, thank you. I was wondering why. Okay, so that's City Hall's closed that day. Okay, thank you. So do we have the other part of the question is, do we have a date or a proposed date for the final vote on the budget?
Yes, the first budget meeting for voting is scheduled for June 14th. If we're not able to pass the budget on June 14th, we'll meet on June 15th. And if we are not able to pass the budget on June 15th, we will meet on June 21st.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Allen. I will say once again that the meeting is adjourned, and so we should move towards conclusion. But Councilor Davila, did you have just a question on the agenda?
Just information, if I may, Mr. President, the comment that you made, the order expiring in July, does that apply to subcommittee meetings as well?
That is what I'm seeking clarity on, Councilor Davila. Yes.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, and thank you, everybody. Have a great rest of your night.